welcome to the Partnership Publishing podcast. I'm Florence, the director here, and today we are joined with Sarah and Erin Wilson-Clark, the mother and daughter duo and the author and illustrator of our debut title, I Don't Want to Share, under Magic Mouse Books. So welcome both of you. It's a pleasure to be here today with you.
Hi.
Hello. So we've been on a bit of a journey, haven't we, to get to this point. We met a couple of 3 years ago now, maybe a lot longer ago, actually.
It was during lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah. And obviously when we first met, there was a bit of an idea of a story and a concept and how you wanted to work together, but perhaps bring the listeners and viewers up to date with where the inspiration came from for your brand new book.
I just started as a random idea. We were just having a conversation. I think it was like near Christmas. We just stopped and had a conversation about where I could go with my illustrations. And my mum came up with an idea that we could try and make a book together.
Yeah, we thought of lots of different things because obviously getting your artwork out there is really, really difficult. But we spend a lot of time together anyway, don't we, sweetheart? And it was just sort of came together as an idea of my work and Erin's illustration, because she's always drawn things for me and things as well. Because I work in behaviour and I work with parents a lot of the time. And one of the main things that parents really struggle with is teaching their children how to share. And I do that in my job all of the time, just about every day. So
yeah, it's true. And I think when we first read the manuscript and I kind of was able to have a look at the artwork and everything, the style, for those that can't see, the style is so bold. It's perfect for the target audience and the age range. It's so eye-catching. I'm just sharing a few of the double page spreads. The colours are brilliant. It's simple, definitely, but effective, isn't it, in regards to the detailing, and to get the message across of the I don't want to share. You're really coming in at a level that relates to the children. Actually, it wasn't a preaching kind of message. It's very different. Maybe how was the writing journey?
We're not brilliant at rhyming. I think we found the rhyming probably the trickiest bit. I don't speak for you, Erin, but I think that when Erin has a text, she's very good at putting pictures to that. So it was just, we got the theme, the idea together. It was sort of my idea about sharing, because I said what I wanted to do was I teach lots of different strategies through my job, and sharing being the main one, because people don't realise that you actually have to teach children how to share. They just think that they just learn it, I think, sometimes by osmosis, by sitting next to somebody who can do it. But it is a concept and you have to share it, you have to teach it. So which is why we wanted to tell it through a book. And we've looked at other children's books, haven't we? And some of them are either about particular topics like sharing and lots of other things, teaching your children things can be a bit preachy or sometimes just a bit bland. That's why we came up with the simplicity of the book and the pictures. I mean, I just love the expressions on the children's faces. I think Erin's absolutely got it to a T. I think she's amazing.
I'm just sharing again a little bit more of the book.
Emily's face just on every page, she's different on every page,
isn't it?
Character, she's just fantastic. Particularly.
I mean, I feel like with this book we can all relate, and I think that is ultimately, whether you're a parent, carer, teacher, guardian, sister, brother, you definitely can relate. And I know when reading, the rhyming really helps. So as much as that was a challenging factor for you, I can appreciate why it will be. And it's very rare that we receive a submission that, especially with rhyme, that it's done well, that it feels like, no, that can be followed through and it is a rhyming book. Or you don't carry on the rhyming and it is just a storybook, if you like, in that sense. And with the rhyme, it really helps for the story to flow, like the flow is there. And and it becomes an enjoyable read, even though we're reading about I don't want to share, and actually it could have been written in such a way that, oh, I don't want to share, like it wouldn't be a positive book to read. But because of the rhyming, it really helps elevate the message. I feel like that was one of the reasons we really loved the story, let alone then the illustrations that accompany then the actual message. But the rhyming, was you able to have some fun with that? I know even when you came to the layout,
yes,
it became a bit tricky. But...
yeah, we did. I think the rhyming as well for the age range of the children, sort of like any sort of age from 2 to maybe 6, 7, really helps them to engage with the story, because they finish off the sentences as well, and they remember things more when it rhymes, I think. And that's the feedback that we've got already. We had a friend who bought one the other day, and we got a message back within the hour, and they said that, you know, they'd read it 3 times through already, and it had opened up lots of discussions already about its sharing and how important it is to share and how you can do that and things. So which is lovely, just lovely.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. I mean, that's ultimately what this is all about, and to be able to educate and inspire, like having that conversation, that it doesn't have to be a daunting conversation, that there's nothing wrong, you know, it's just that they need to learn that skill set, really, isn't it?
It's about trust. It's about trust.
Yeah. So you touch on there, Sarah, the background you work within the teaching community. That has been your professional capacity for quite a long time. There's obviously an element of you can see it comes through for both of you. There's a passion element there in regards to a drive to want to produce a good quality book with a strong message based on your years of experience. Do you think that's fair to say?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was a mainstream teacher for 14 years, and then I've been in behaviour for about 18. At one point I did both jobs, and I think the behaviour side of teaching it's become even more difficult nowadays. But if we can, you know, support parents, I think lockdown's had a massive impact as well on young children, particularly around sharing, being with other people, you know, everything that, because they were at home, a lot of younger children particularly just had what they wanted at the time. I think for whatever reasons, there's lots of reasons behind that. So I know when I was in schools, the main challenge is around learning how to share and things. And if this is what I do in my job all of the time, like I've said already. And I think, like you said already, about helping and supporting other people. I mean, you've worked with young children, haven't you, Erin, quite a lot?
Yeah. I've worked doing artwork with children mainly, not behavioural stuff, but I have worked with behavioural kids doing artwork, trying to help them communicate and like just try to help them communicate through artwork as well. Which was quite interesting at times, I guess.
I bet.
Kids who like are quite shy, don't really want to talk, and try and talk to them through artwork. So it was quite a learning journey when I was doing that. It's quite fun.
That sounds really interesting, actually. And it's a medium to express themselves. Not every child is happy to express themselves through the written word. So through art and creativity and expression, you know, they can really start to feel seen, heard. It's another way. That's really interesting. Thank you. And they're moving quite nicely then into the illustrations. So how have you found, you know, usually I know your background was, you know, potentially illustrations for digital mainly, so moving into the print arena and your first book, how does that feel?
Daunting. The editing stage was definitely the most difficult part, because it took me a long time to do the illustrations, mainly because I lost enthusiasm. We had never had a deadline for this one as well, so it took a very long time to actually push through and complete it. But when it was done, it felt like everything just happened.
Came together,
You did a bit of mum cracking the whip.
Come on.
Are we getting it or not? We are.
I think as well, like obviously there's an element of being the designer, illustrator. How can I explain this? As publishers, there's illustrators, and then there's also book design. and book designers. And obviously with this, you've taken on the role of both illustrator and book designer, because for the listeners and viewers, the illustration and the book design process are two completely different factors of the publishing journey. And the illustrations, you're looking at character design, you're looking at detail, you're looking at the shading, you're actually looking at the illustrations and you're working with the words to portray an illustration. But then when you're working with book design, you're looking at the double page spreads, where does that illustration fit in? How did you find that? Because obviously you may be a challenge. You've learned a lot through this journey. I'm sure you'll do things differently for a second book, things like that, as everybody feels. But how was that for you?
Well, basically I started by putting the illustrations to the text that we'd already written, but I'd already illustrated every page. So when it came to the editing part, learning about bleed lines and stuff, margins, it was alien to me completely. And I found that it was really difficult to go back to pages and edit stuff because I'd already completed it. So I think for the next one, I'd rather piece it together a bit like a puzzle. So it's a lot easier for me to edit.
Layers on everything.
Yes.
We've talked about layout as well, haven't we? On a different book, it's going to have different layouts, and because if you said something about going right up to the edges and stuff as well, all of that's been quite
difficult,
quite a challenge.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's quite nice for the listeners and viewers to know that, they might think, if they're an author and a writer, they might not have as much respect for the illustrator in the journey, because there's the illustration genuinely and the book design. So it's not thinking that an illustrator can genuinely know the book design process. Now you've got both. And it's an amazing skill and quality to learn and kind of go on this journey with, because not every illustrator knows book design, and it is a thing, and you can tell the difference between a self-published book, for example, and a published book. So I think now with your journey with I Don't Want to Share, you can tell and you can see now, again, I'm just sharing a few more spreads for people, even down to the fonts, the font sizes, the layout of the fonts, making sure that there's enough breathing space, room. This book really is beautifully illustrated.
With the font as well, not many people know that I did create the font myself for the book as well. And then when I do mention it, everyone's like, blimey, what?
She's extremely meticulous, is Erin. I think that's why she wanted it. She's had a vision in her head of what she wanted it to look like, didn't you? And although, yes, she's had some help sort of verbally, I'm just so proud of everything that she's learned. She's been amazing, absolutely amazing.
It really is. No, it's fantastic quality product. I'm just showing the back now as well for viewers. And it's true, really genuinely, even illustrators, they probably wouldn't even design their own font. And it just goes to credit of the relationship that you both have. So I mentioned at the very beginning, and for those that can't see, so this is a mother-daughter relationship. So, and there has been challenges along the way. How have you found genuinely working together? And this feels like a long-term thing. There's obviously that passion and drive there for, more messages, more stories. You're obviously using them within the educational sector at the moment, and it's used as a resource now. So we're positive that there's going to be demand for more within other areas of emotional intelligence, and obviously learning as a learning resource. How has the mother-daughter journey been? Because I feel that that's so interesting, and I think listeners and viewers will do too.
Over to you first.
We do get along very well, which is fine. There wasn't really any massive, I want to say beef, but that's quite a young version to be honest. But there wasn't really any arguments or any nitpicking with the pages or how it looks. My mum just let me draw it and illustrate it how I wanted to. I could tell sometimes she wanted like page changing slightly because of a face she pulled. But
that's actually maybe a positive, because you know what the other person's thinking without even needing to say it. So
we did hit a bit sort of towards the end, didn't we, where Erin said, it stops too quick, I need a bit more. So I wrote a bit more, not that much, I don't want that much, I don't want that many pages. So
yeah
there was a bit of compromise every now and again, wasn't there? So yeah.
Oh no, that's brilliant. But it's a creative process and a creative relationship, that balance, you know, and that understanding and appreciation of, right, that role, the designer and illustrator role, and then the author, the wordsmith role, you know, that you've got that balance there, which is so amazing to see. And it's been amazing to be able to get to know you both. And well, our story kind of begins now, really, as your publishers.
It just feels great for me as well, Florence, because it's a bit of a legacy for me, because obviously I've been teaching for 30 years, to actually have something as a reminder of, you know, out there as well, because a lot of people do know me. I mean, with a name like Wilson-Clark, there's quite a lot of people who do know me. And poor old Erin, bless her, every time she says a name, oh, is your mum Sarah? Oh. Yeah. So I have been teaching a long time, and I do work obviously right across North Lincolnshire and things as well. So for me, this is just absolutely wonderful to have something like this as I move towards retirement, not into yet, but towards retirement.
Yeah, so, it's that professional standing as well, really, isn't it? From everything that you've learned over the years and everything practically that you're, you know, day in, day out, you know, teaching and working with the children, to have something in book form, it is there forevermore. It's in the British libraries, it's in the libraries, it's available for people to buy. You know, your knowledge, the wisdom that you've both, you know, learned, this book can go a lot further than even you know, the children that you work with in a day-to-day one-to-one capacity. You know, it's there's a lot of opportunities with books that I think sometimes we don't really realize at the time of writing it, potentially, that it can even go further, which is quite exciting.
Yeah, we had a head teacher bought a copy, didn't we, at the weekend, who I know in our local school, and she didn't even read it. She just said, I know it'll be amazing because I know what you do, Sarah, which was just lovely, just really lovely. So
yeah, that's amazing. Oh no, and credit to you both. So what's kind of next? I mentioned the resource, and that this is used as a resource a couple of times in our conversation, and just to share again with the viewers and listeners, that at the back of the book you get a little bit more information about Sarah and the work that she has done over the years, and Erin, and then you can turn the page and you actually get an incredible free resource. Now, perhaps would you be able to share a little bit more about how this can be used and what this is all about?
Yeah, well, when I first came into the job, when I'm working with parents and practitioners in settings, I can talk to them about how important it is to learn how to share, and I can show them how to do it as well myself, but to actually leave them with something to then go back to so that they remember what to do, I always found was absolutely crucial. So when I first started doing my job, I started making posters for parents, like bespoke posters, to remind them what to do, how to teach a child to share, to get them to bed, all sorts of different ones. And that's how this came about. The lady that I started working with initially when I did the job used to write lots of strategies out, but I found that if you have a picture as a reminder, you've read it through, but then you see the picture and it reminds you what to do. So that's how this has come about, really. So, you know, it talks you through the different stages of teaching your child to share, and it can actually be printed off as a A4 resource as well, which you can print off. I often say to parents, put it in your kitchen or put it somewhere where you can go have a look at, come back, and it reminds you, you know, what you need to do when you're teaching your child to share. So that's how it came about, amazing. Really. The parents tell me that it's helped them so much, you know. Like, I remember what you said to me, Sarah, but I've got my poster, so I know what I'm doing. So just really helps them loads.
Well, that's it, the step-by-step process, because as much as there's the book, the child gets to be able to read through it, enjoy the story, take the message subliminally, or, you know, part of the journey of reading. But then to have that resource at the back for parents, carers, guardians, teachers, even, you know, if it's within the educational system, the they can then really enforce that message, can't they? And no, it's brilliant. And like you say, to have that illustration at the side, we all learn differently and remember differently, and you just think of everyone. So I feel like to round this off, what's next for Doodlebug Publications? More events? Can people meet you, find you, connect with you? You've got a website. How do people find you?
Well, we've got the very flashy website that I designed myself,
which has been updated.
Yes.
Yay.
Well, we've got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X as it's known as now.
Yeah.
On all of those, updating whenever we do have events or any kind of like updated content. I'm trying to share little tidbits of the next book we've got planned, which we've titled Dream TV.
Okay.
So it's going to be
interesting
about dreams. Essentially, it's kind of a personal one for me because I used to suffer with like a recurring nightmare a lot when I was a kid.
I think children do.
Yeah, I think that's quite common, isn't it? And yeah, we don't hear a lot about it or ways to cope with it or how to deal with it.
It's going to focus on that, and also a bit about how important it is to get sleep, proper sleep, and try and counter nightmares. But I've put it on the website today, just a little tidbit. Yeah. I've been working on the next character already. So
this is it, the inspiration comes and you start drawing.
It's not going to have any psychology or anything like that. That's not our sort of bag. But it is around personal experience, and I think hopefully that comes through in the messages that we put through as well. There will be educational resource as well to go with that one, which will have lots of different ideas about sleep and helping your child to sleep. But again, it will be visual. So everything we do will be visual. So
no, we're so excited for the future of Doodlebug Publications, and you're both a duo, a force to be reckoned with, and
we'll hope so.
It is a fantastic book. If anyone listening or watching would love to connect with Sarah and Erin Wilson-Clark, please do so. They're on, as Erin says, every platform that you can think of. Just Google Doodlebug Publications, or their names, as Sarah rightly says, there's not many of them. So please do. And if you ever wanted to contact them via ourselves as well, you can do. Just visit the Partnership Publishing website. And they are published through Magic Mouse Books. The book is available now. It is out. So it's available in Waterstones, Amazon. You can buy direct through Erin and Sarah as well as ourselves. So please do, if you've liked what you've heard today or what you've seen, it is a fantastic, practical, children's, beautifully illustrated picture book. And hopefully we will continue this conversation, but thank you ever so much for today. And we'll see you very soon, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.